Welcome back, student. Welcome to the class. Today we will going to discuss the last part of the nitrogen family, that is the compounds of the phosphorus. Now, in this case, what we will discuss first the structure of PCl3 and PCl5. Okay, in that case, phosphorus is sp3 hybridized and structure is what pyramidal in nature. It is what pyramidal in nature. But in case of PCl5, okay, it is sp3 pyramidal. It is sp3d trigonal bipyramidal. Trigonal bipyramidal. Okay. Now this phosphorus atom, these two chlorine bond, they are perpendicular to the plane of these three bonds. These are three bonds here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, these three bonds, they are at 120 to each other, 120 to each other. But this chlorine bond, and this chlorine bond, okay, that is perpendicular to the plane of, and that is also perpendicular below, that is normal, you can say. Are you getting that or not? So that's how you are getting that. Okay, so in case of PCl5, it is sp3, three chlorines are equatorial and these two chlorines are axial. What they are? Axial. Are you getting that? The equatorial bond lengths are what? Equatorial bond lengths are smaller while axial bond lengths are little bit longer. We will discuss that later on. Okay, so that's how you are getting that. Are you getting that now? Now first look at what? Look at the formation of PCl3. PCl3 is prepared in the laboratory by passing dry chlorine gas over heated white phosphorus. Yesterday we have done that. P4 white phosphorus is more reactive than red phosphorus. So what happens that, and distilled over and cooled in a receiver by the water. The receiver has calcium chloride tube attached to it, which protects it from reaction from the outside moisture. The reason being that if PCl3 reacts with the moisture, it will start fuming. Why? Because PCl3, when react with moisture, it will undergo hydrolysis to give you H3PO3 plus HCl. The formation of this HCl is the fumes. That's why PCl3 while preparation should be kept in calcium chloride. The reason being that otherwise it will react with the outside moisture and PCl3 will undergo hydrolysis to give you H3PO3 and HCl. It is also obtained when you treat the phosphorus with thionyl chloride. This is SOCl2. Remember that P4 if react with sulfuryl chloride, that is SO2Cl2. This is the main difference you have to understand. When P4 react with thionyl chloride, you have formation of PCl3. Okay, I am repeating once more. You can get two arrows here. If it react with SOCl2, you will get PCl3. But if you reacted with SO2Cl2, then you have PCl5. So look at the difference. This is thionyl chloride, which we are discussing here, and that is sulfuryl chloride. That is what SO2Cl2 is called as sulfuryl chloride. It is known as sulfuryl chloride. Now look at the structure of PCl3. In case of PCl3, the phosphorus is sp3 hybridized. This phosphorus is what? sp3 hybridized, and 3 of the sp3 orbital with the p orbital of chlorine to give you PCl sigma bond, and fourth contains a lone pair of electron. Okay, it has a bond angle of what? It has a bond angle of 104.4 degree. Compare it to what? This is phosphorus chlorine bond. Compare it with a hydrogen phosphorus, that is equal to 93.6. Okay, I already given this topic in a separate topic, that is called Drago's rule. That is called what? Hybridization and Drago rules. Please go to my YouTube channel and go through the hybridization and Drago rules, where I explained it at a full length, that why you have two different bond angles. In case of PH3, the bond angle is near to 90, but in case of PCl3, the bond angle is nearly 100 degree. So we have to take into account the Drago's rule. So please go to that video and check that. Okay. Next is about the action of water. I already discussed with you that in case of what? In case it should be kept free from moisture, because in moist air lot of water is there, and it will give you phosphorus acid and HCl, and dense white fumes are due to this formation of HCl. The action of oxygen on PCl3 will give you phosphorus oxychloride. Now this is very interesting topic, because phosphorus oxychloride has this type of structure, and here you have a p pi d pi bond angle. This oxygen, one is phosphorus oxygen sigma bond, second is oxygen phosphorus pi bond, but that pi bond is p pi d pi bond. P orbital of oxygen and d orbital of phosphorus are involved here. Remember that. Okay, sure about that. Similarly, you can get POCl3 by treating with sulfur trioxide. If you take PCl3, treat with SO3, you will get phosphorus oxychloride. So PCl3 will give you phosphorus oxychloride either by treatment with SO3 or with oxygen. So please, you have to able to memorize that. Now look at the formation of what? Formation of phosphorus pentachloride. Phosphorus pentachloride can be prepared by treating phosphorus with excess of chlorine or with sulfuric chloride. I told you already, when phosphorus react with sulfuric chloride, it will give you PCl5. When phosphorus react with thionyl chloride, it will give you PCl3. This is the main difference you have to memorize. Okay, sure about that or not? Now, in the gaseous phase and in the liquid phase, it has trigonal bipyramidal structure, that is sp3d. I already discussed with you. It has 3 equatorial PCl bond. Look at that. Equatorial bond length here. What is that? Equatorial bond length. You can check that. It is 202 picometer. 202 picometer. You can check that. But axial bond length. That is equal to 240 picometer. The reason being that one axial bond experience repulsion from three equatorial bonds. Okay, equatorial bonds do not repel each other. I am repeating once more. The equatorial bonds do not repel each other, or you can say repulsion is at minimum. But one axial bond experience repulsion from three equatorial bonds. So, in order to minimize the repulsion, the axial bond length becomes little bit elongated. So I am repeating once more to you now that what happens here now. In three equatorial PCl bonds are equivalent. Okay, all are 202. All the equatorial bond lengths are 202, while the two axial bond lengths are longer than the equatorial bond. This is due to that axial bond pair suffer more repulsion than the equatorial bond repulsion. Sure about that? This is very, very important. Okay. Equatorial bond angle, if you say chlorine here is what? If chlorine here is equatorial and the second chlorine is also equatorial, then bond angle is 120. But if one chlorine is axial, other is equatorial, then angle is 90 degree. If both the chlorines are axial, then angle is 180. These are axial chlorine, so they are linear. Okay, both these axial bond, I will repeat it once more. The axial bond is perpendicular to the equatorial bond. Equatorial bonds. One axial bond perpendicular to what? Three equatorial bond. Okay, so you can say that here there are three 120 degree angle, 6 90 degree angle, and one 180 degree angle exist in this geometry. Are you sure about that or not? Now PCl5 is yellowish white powder, and in moist air it hydrolyzed to give you PuCl3 and 2HCl, which further hydrolyzed to give you H3PO4 and HCl. So you can see here that in case of PCl3 on hydrolysis, you are getting what? You are getting PCl3. You will get, in case of PCl3 you will get phosphorus acid, but in case of PCl5 you will get phosphoric acid. And one of the very interesting example is that decomposition of PCl5. PCl5 on heating will give you PCl3 and Cl2. Okay. Now look at the structure once more here now. Are you sure about that? So if you look at the structure here, now here it should be 220. It should not be 240. It is too large. It should be 220. I'm repeating once more. Axial bond length. Now in PCl5, phosphorus is sp3 hybridized and has a trigonal bipyramidal structure. It has three equatorial PCl bond and two axial PCl bond. We have discussed at length already. Now it should be noted that PCl5 in liquid state and in gaseous state is trigonal bipyramidal. But in solid state it is PCl4 plus and PCl6 negative. The PCl4 plus is tetrahedral and PCl6 negative is octahedral. Are you sure about that? So in the solution it exists either molecular or depend upon the nature of the solvent. So what do you mean by that? It means that in this case, if you have PCl4 plus, it will have a perfect tetrahedral geometry. and if you have PCl6 negative, that will have a perfect octahedral geometry. Are you getting that or not? So this you have to memorize, that in case of PCl5 in solid state exists an ionic solid, PCl4 plus and PCl6. Now some very interesting reaction of PCl5 are given there now, and you have to memorize all of them. That PCl5 when react with potassium fluoride, it will accept the 6-fluorine, so it becomes K plus PF6 negative and 5 KCl. PCl5 when react with BCl3, it becomes PCl4 plus BCl6 3 negative. So here it is sp2, here it is sp3. PCl5 it is sp3d, but here phosphorus is sp3. Similarly, PCl5 with NbCl4 will give you PCl4 plus and NbCl5 negative. Similarly, PCl5 with SO2 will give you POCl3 and SOCl2. While with sulfuric acid, look at that. Okay, with this and this reaction, with SO2 you will get SOCl2. But with sulfuric acid, with PCl5, you get SO2Cl2. This is the major difference you have to take into account. And with P4O10, you also get POCl3. So these things should be in your mind always. These are very important reaction and definitely will come in the examination. Similarly, one more important thing, that PBr5 and PBRI also exist in ionic form. That PBr5 and PI5 also exist in ionic form, but in a different manner. PBr5 exists as PBr4 plus Br negative, while PI3 it exists as PI4I negative. So that is different from what? That is different from PCl5, which exists as PCl6 negative and PCl4. So that you must be memorized. Now look at the next point, that is the phosphorus trichloride and its dimer P4O6. This is structure. You can see here that, look at the structure, that is POO, that is also POO. Then you just cross linkage between the opposite phosphorus. Okay, what I am trying to say here, draw the PO bond like that, and after that join one P also here. Okay, sure about that. Now the opposite word, the opposite, they are joined like that. Are you sure about that or not? Okay, so this is P4O6. That is P4O6. If you want to convert into P4O10, then anything has to be had. wherever phosphorus is there, now put double bond oxygen. So it becomes P4O10. So I am repeating once more to you. Okay, if you take here and remove this, if you remove this bond, it becomes P4O6. And if you add, so it is P4O6, dimer of P2O, dimer of P2O6. Are you getting that or not? When phosphorus, it reacts with limited amount of oxygen, you will get P2O3. Phosphorus trichloride in limited supply of air gives you phosphorus trichloride. We already mentioned to you. It is a colorless crystalline solid with odor of garlic. It exists as a dimer both in naphthalene as well as in vapor phase. It dissolves in cold water giving phosphorus acid H3PO3, whereas in hot water it gives phosphoric acid and phosphine. So in hot water it undergo what you can say disproportionate reaction also. Okay, so here what when you happen now, so you got cold water, you will get phosphorus acid, but if you got hot water you will get phosphoric acid and phosphine. That is very very important, you have to learn that. Next is about phosphorus pentoxide. In case of phosphorus pentoxide, if burning of phosphorus happens in excess of oxygen, then it will give you phosphorus pentoxide. It is a white solid which is sublimes on heating. Okay, it dissolves in cold water giving metaphosphoric acid HPO3. But with hot water it will give you orthophosphoric acid. So remember that when P4O10 dissolved in cold water you will get metaphosphoric acid, but when you take phosphorus pentoxide and dissolved in hot water you will get phosphoric acid. That is the main difference you have to understand here. This is the structure of what? This is the structure of P4, that is P4O10. I'm repeating once more, it is P4O10, which is a dimer of P2O5. The structure is similar to that of P2O3. The real difference is that in the structure of P4O6, just draw 2 oxygen and double bond in all 4 cases. Now you are getting what? You are getting the what? So I am repeating once more. If you look at that, these are the 4 oxygen extra here with double bond. Okay, one is phosphorus and sigma bond, other is p pi d pi bond. So you can easily see here that structure of phosphorus pentoxide. Now it is a strong dehydrated agent. For example, H2SO4 and NH3, from there also it can take out water. Now H2SO4 itself is a very strong dehydrated agent, but P4O10 is so strong that it can remove water from H2SO4 also. P4O also remove water from nitric acid to give you N2O5 and metaphosphoric acid. In the structure of P4O10, each phosphorus atom forms 3 bonds to oxygen atom and also an additional coordinate bond with oxygen atom, that is p pi d pi bond I told you. Terminal coordinate PO bond is 143 picometer, which is shorter than expected bond length of 162. This is because of the considerable p pi d pi bond. So remember that when there is a single bond transfer into a double bond, its bond length definitely decreases. Okay, sure about that? This happens because of the lateral overlapping between the p orbital of oxygen and empty d orbital of phosphorus. Now, these are the names of various types of phosphoric acid. Okay, H3PO2, that is known as hypophosphorus acid or phosphinic acid. H3PO3, that is called as phosphorus acid or orthophosphorus acid or phosphonic acid. You have phosphinic, that is phosphonic. Then you have pyrophosphorus acid. From phosphorus acid, if you remove one water molecule, you will get pyrophosphorus. Then you get hypophosphoric, orthophosphoric, pyrophosphoric, and metaphosphoric. Okay. Now first we have to understand that what does the prefix here meta acid means, pyro acid means, and hypo means. Okay. So first understand the metaphosphoric. Okay, if you take any normal acid, if you take any and remove one of the water molecule from that, okay, this is what, this is metaphosphoric acid. From H3PO4, remove H2O, remove one water molecule, you will get what? You will get meta acids, pyro acids. From heating of two molecules, remove one water molecule. So these two water molecules, this is first, that is second. Both are heated and this water which I show you is removed. So what you have pyro acids. What you have? Pyro acids. And what is hypo? Hypo means from the name itself, phosphorus acid. So if you remove from an acid one of the oxygen, the same acid becomes hypo. It is earlier H3, so it becomes what? H3. So if from the phosphorus acid you remove one of the oxygen, it becomes hypophosphorus acid. H3PO3, phosphorus acid. Remove one oxygen, you will get hypo. What you get? Hypo acids. Are you getting that or not? Sure about that? Sometimes it is very simple that from the normal RIC acid, like you have sulfuric acid or you have chloric acid, if you remove one oxygen, you will get us acid, HClO2, that is chlorous acid. So it is chloric acid. This is chlorous acid. If from the us acid you remove one oxygen, you become hypo acid. What you are getting? Hypo acid. Actually it is OHCl. But if to the Ra acid, if you add one more oxygen, you will get perchloric acid. So that is also one of the understanding portion you have to give. So look at that. One is H3PO4. This is H3PO4. Look at H3PO4. H3PO4. There is one bond, that is phosphorus oxygen double bond, and there are 1, 2, 3 OH linkages. 3 OH linkages are there. So you can check it here. In case of what? In case of phosphoric acid. What you have? You have H3PO4. This is H3PO4. There are 3 POH bond and 1 PO bond. Okay, phosphorus in +5 state. and you got it is prepared by dissolving P4O10 in water. P4O10 in hot water. Hot water, I am repeating once more. Then from the two molecule of phosphoric acid, if you remove one of the water molecule here, what you are able to get? You are able to get the ortho, or you can say pyrophosphoric acid. Is it pyrophosphoric acid? That is written wrong here. That is pyrophosphoric. What is that? Pyrophosphoric acid. So that is hypophosphoric. It is hypophosphoric acid. Then you have what? Then you have orthophosphorus acid. 2OH, one double bond oxygen and one oxygen here. One H is here. That is also written wrong. That is high orthophosphorus acid. That is very, very important. Hypophosphorus acid. Look at that, 2H are there. Okay. So look at that, hypophosphorus acid. There are 2H are here and one OH, and there is one double bond. Phosphorus acid. Okay, only one H. Okay, sure about that? Only one H and two OHs there. Sure about that? So memorize these two very well. Then you have that is pyrophosphoric acid. It is pyrophosphoric acid. So that is phosphoric. It is phosphoric acid, H3PO4. H3PO4, 3 OH is there and one oxygen. Pyrophosphorics, one of the, if you heat these two phosphoric acid, one water molecule will be lost. I told you how. So understand that. And then you have metaphosphoric. What you have? Metaphosphoric acid, HPO3. Look at that polymeric structure. Okay. And in the last you have cyclic trimetaphosphoric acid. Remember the number of PO: 1, 2, 3. There are 3 PO bond and 3 POH bond. And how many bridge bond? How many bridge? POP, 3 POP bonds also. So these minor things you must be memorized in your mind in order to understand the structure. So H3PO2, H3PO3, H4P2O4, H4P2O6. So all these names must be known to you very well, and their preparation should be also in your mind. Memorize all these aspects very well. Okay, draw it 3, 4, 5 times so that you can able to draw each and every structure very well. Now look at that structure. This is the most important, that is called orthophosphoric acid, H3PO4. If from two molecule of this, if one water molecule has been lost, it will give you what? It will be pyrophosphoric acid. It will be pyrophosphoric acid. That is pyrophosphoric acid. If from the phosphoric acid you add what? Add one oxygen. If you add one, it is called as peroxyphosphoric acid. If to pyrophosphoric acid add one more oxygen, it will give you peroxy. Look at that. That bond is peroxy. That bond is also peroxy bond. So, okay. So remember that. That's how. Okay. This is peroxy linkage. This is peroxy linkage. Sure about that or not? So you have to understand that very well. Now, if from this acid you remove one of the oxygen, okay, then this oxygen is being removed. So it becomes what? It becomes hypophosphoric acid. It becomes hypophosphoric acid. It becomes what? Hypophosphoric acid. Sure about that or not? So, and if from this you remove one water molecule, it becomes metaphosphoric acid. So remember all those things very well. Memorize it. Now similarly, if you have phosphorus acid and from the two molecule remove one water molecule, you will get what? You will get pyrophosphorus acid. It is called pyrophosphoric acid. And if from this you remove one of the oxygen, then you get hypophosphorus acid. I already told you that how to get all those acids generally.